There's a subtle unease that settles in the marrow of your bones, a persistent hum beneath the surface of everyday life. It's the feeling of being caught, not just by circumstances, but by something far more fundamental. We perceive time as a river, a linear progression from past to future. But what if that perception is a carefully constructed illusion? What if time itself is a cage, a vast, ancient construct designed to hold us captive? This isn't a new thought. Across cultures and throughout history, whispers have emerged of a cosmic architect, a being or a system known as Chronos, not as a benevolent force of nature, but as the ultimate jailer. This deep-seated dread, this primal fear of being trapped, it resonates with the very fabric of our reality, suggesting that our existence is bound by invisible chains. And real quick, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos. Now let's keep going. But how can time, something so seemingly intangible, be a prison? The answer lies in understanding its true architecture, a design that has subtly permeated our consciousness for millennia, shaping our perception of freedom and captivity without us ever truly realizing it. This echo of Chronos, this primal trap, has yet to reveal its most chilling secrets, and the fear it instills is only the beginning of its dominion, leading us to a deeper understanding of the forces that govern our cycles. We often speak of Saturn with a mix of awe and trepidation. Ancient cultures revered it, but also feared it, personifying it as a devourer, a titan who consumed his own children. This imagery isn't mere mythology. It's a coded warning about the planet's profound connection to the very structure of time itself. Saturn, in its celestial dance, has long been associated with cycles, with limitations, with the relentless march of days and years. But what if these cycles aren't natural occurrences? What if they are deliberately imposed structures, meticulously designed to confine us? The fear surrounding Saturn was not just superstition. It was an intuitive recognition of its role as an architect of our temporal reality, a role that was later deliberately obscured and its associated anxieties erased from collective memory. This ancient fear, though buried, hints at a larger purpose behind the cyclical nature of our existence. It suggests that what we perceive as the natural flow of time is, in fact, a carefully orchestrated system, a grand, repeating pattern orchestrated by something far more ancient and deliberate than we can comprehend. And understanding Saturn's role is crucial to unlocking the next layer of this temporal prison. The feeling of confinement isn't just abstract. It's embedded in the very geometry of reality, woven into the fabric of existence through sacred shapes. Consider the hexagon, a form that appears in crystals, honeycombs, and even the storms on Saturn. And then there's the black cube, a symbol of absolute finality and immutability. These are not random occurrences. These geometric patterns are more than just visually appealing. They are fundamental building blocks of the temporal prison, acting as sigils, as dimensional locks that bind our consciousness. Their recurring presence in ancient architecture, in occult symbols, and even in modern iconography is not accidental, but a deliberate imprinting, a constant reinforcement of the boundaries that contain us. These shapes serve as keys, or rather as locks, in the grand design of our temporal confinement. They are the invisible bars of our cage, and their subtle yet pervasive influence shapes our perception and limits our potential, hinting at a deeper language of control embedded within the very structure of our world. A language that leads us to examine how even our most sacred notions are being subtly twisted. A process that begins with the manipulation of divine essence. When we look at divine names and powerful spiritual entities, we often see a pattern of inversion. Figures like a Staroth emerge from Astarte, a seemingly minor shift that carries immense weight. This isn't just linguistic play. It's a profound act of energetic hijacking, a method of corrupting and redirecting spiritual energy. By inverting sacred names, what appears as divine or protective becomes a tool for control, its essence twisted to serve the system of temporal confinement. This symbolic inversion is a sophisticated form of energetic manipulation, subtly co-opting the very forces that could liberate us, turning them into instruments of our own perpetual binding. This deliberate corruption of divine power serves a specific purpose: redirecting potent energies away from liberation and towards reinforcement of the prison. It's a masterful deception, making sacred symbols and names serve a purpose antithetical to their original intent, a practice that is extensively detailed in ancient texts that hold the blueprints for this very system of control. Among the ancient grimoires, the Lesser Key of Solomon stands out, not as a mere collection of summoning rituals, but as something far more practical and sinister. It's a decoded manual, a blueprint for the temporal prison itself, detailing the mechanisms of our entrapment. Its intricate hierarchies and seemingly arcane rituals are not about conjuring spirits, but about managing and harvesting souls ensnared within time's cycles. This text reveals a system of control, a meticulously crafted framework for maintaining the temporal prison. The entities described within are not necessarily malevolent beings in the traditional sense, but rather functionaries, administrators of this vast, time-bound harvesting operation. The book itself acts as a guide for those who built and maintain our cage. The secrets held within its pages are not for summoning power, but for understanding the machinery of our imprisonment. It offers insight into how the system operates, how souls are managed, and how their energy is extracted, revealing that the true purpose of this ancient text is to perpetuate our confinement. And the ultimate administrators of this system are far more organized than we might imagine. The hierarchical structures described in ancient texts, the princes and dukes of infernal realms, are not to be understood as purely spiritual adversaries, but as administrators, as functionaries within the grand temporal harvesting system. Their domains and attributed roles are reinterpreted as specific tasks in managing the flow and extraction of spiritual energy from beings trapped in time. These figures, often depicted as demons, are in reality the overseers and managers of our temporal imprisonment. Their perceived malevolence is a reflection of their role in upholding a system that drains and exploits. They are the cogs and gears in the Chronos machine, ensuring the continued operation of the soul harvesting cycle. Their meticulously defined hierarchies and specific responsibilities highlight the organized and systematic nature of our entrapment. They maintain the structure, ensuring that each soul's journey through time contributes to the larger energy extraction operation, a process that is intimately tied to the very purpose of our existence, or at least, our perceived existence through reincarnation. Reincarnation, often presented as a path to spiritual evolution and growth, takes on a chilling new meaning when viewed through the lens of the temporal prison. Instead of ascending towards enlightenment, each life becomes a chapter in a continuous soul harvesting cycle, meticulously designed to extract energy from every lived experience. This cyclical process is not about learning or progressing. It's about perpetual extraction. The warnings from ancient Gnostic traditions about a demiurge, a flawed creator who traps souls in a material world, find a profound and terrifying relevance here. Our successive lives are not opportunities for advancement, but are carefully managed events designed for sustenance of the Chronos parasite. The notion of spiritual evolution is a comforting illusion, a narrative that masks the true purpose of our repetitive existence. The system thrives on this deception, ensuring that we remain engaged in the process, unaware that each rebirth is merely a prelude to another phase of energetic harvesting, a cycle that requires the suppression of certain knowledge. Within the history of human knowledge, there are entire bodies of magic and texts that were deliberately suppressed, banished from mainstream understanding. These were not deemed dangerous because they were inherently evil, but because they held the potential to disrupt or even break free from the temporal prison. This suppression is a direct effort to keep humanity bound to the harvesting cycle. The forbidden texts and banned magical systems are the keys that could unlock our chains. Their knowledge offered pathways to understanding the true nature of time and consciousness, pathways that threatened the very foundation of the Chronos system. By hiding this information, the architects of our confinement ensured our continued ignorance and compliance. What was deemed heretical or occult was often simply knowledge that offered an escape route. The deliberate erasure of these practices and texts is a testament to their power. They represent a direct threat to the perpetuation of the temporal prison and the continuous harvesting of soul energy. And understanding what was hidden reveals the true nature of our confinement. A confinement symbolized most starkly by a specific geometric form. The black cube, more than just a shape, is a potent symbol of stagnation and control. It represents a consciousness trapped within a predetermined, unyielding structure, a stark visualization of imprisonment. Its repeated appearance in modern contexts, from corporate logos to architectural designs, acts as a recurring signal, an active reinforcement of the binding energy that keeps us confined. This cube is a seal on awareness, a constant reminder of the boundaries that define our perceived reality. It embodies the idea that our existence is contained, restricted, and ultimately controlled by an inflexible system. Its ubiquity is a subtle yet powerful message, a subconscious imprint that perpetuates the feeling of being limited, of being unable to transcend the imposed structure. The black cube is not merely an aesthetic choice, it's an energetic anchor solidifying the walls of our temporal cage. Its presence is a deliberate communication, a visual mantra meant to keep our consciousness locked in place, preventing any true expansion or escape from the cycles it represents. And this confinement is further perpetuated by the illusion of forward movement. Our perception of progress, of societal evolution and linear advancement is perhaps the most pervasive illusion of all. The true pattern underlying human history is not one of continuous growth, but a series of carefully orchestrated cycles. These cycles are designed to create the feeling of progression, giving us a sense of movement and purpose, while ensuring the continuous harvesting of soul energy remains the primary objective. What appears as innovation and advancement is often merely rotation within the confines of the prison. We celebrate new technologies and changing social norms, completely unaware that these shifts are merely cosmetic, designed to keep us occupied and engaged within the established system. The illusion of progress is the glue that holds the temporal cage together. This perception of linear forward motion is crucial for the system's survival. It prevents us from questioning the fundamental nature of our reality or seeking genuine escape. The cycle of perceived growth is the ultimate distraction, keeping us running on a treadmill, believing we are moving forward, when in reality, we are simply enduring the same fundamental conditions, generating the specific emotional frequencies that sustain the system. Within the temporal construct, certain emotional frequencies are not only tolerated but deliberately amplified. Fear, anxiety, anger, and despair are not accidental byproducts of existence. They are the most potent forms of spiritual energy, vital for the sustenance of the Chronos parasite. These dark emotions are cultivated, not just allowed to exist, but actively encouraged. The system thrives on our distress. The constant barrage of negative news, the societal pressures, the inherent uncertainties of life. All these contribute to an emotional landscape optimized for energy extraction. These amplified frequencies resonate within the temporal prison, creating a feedback loop that fuels the harvesting operation. A cycle that can only be broken through specific protocols. These ancient protocols, often misinterpreted as rituals for battling unseen demons, are in fact methods for severing the soul's intricate ties to the temporal prison. They are attempts to break free from the cycles of harvesting and reclaim spiritual autonomy from the Chronos parasite. The intention behind these rites is liberation, not subjugation. What was once feared and misunderstood as demon fighting is actually a sophisticated form of energetic exorcism. These practices aim to cut the cords that bind us, to release the soul from the grip of the harvesting cycle. They represent a deep ancestral knowledge of how to disrupt the system and reclaim sovereignty over our own spiritual essence. A knowledge that is often distorted by the very powers that seek to control us. Many figures we now label as demons were once revered pagan deities, powerful entities from pre-Christian traditions. Their demonization was a deliberate act to discredit their ancient power and to absorb their essence into the controlled temporal narrative, effectively stealing their energy and redirecting it. The old gods were twisted into instruments of fear and control. By reinterpreting these benevolent or neutral figures as malevolent forces, the architects of the Chronos system stripped away their power and repurposed their symbolism. This act of spiritual theft ensured that humanity's connection to its ancient, powerful sources of energy was severed, and their essence was rechanneled into reinforcing the prison. A prison made all the more secure by the veil of forgetfulness. The veil of forgetfulness is perhaps the most critical component of the temporal prison. It's the amnesia that prevents souls from remembering past lives, the true nature of their existence, and the cosmic architecture that imprisons them. This crucial element ensures that souls can be repeatedly bound and harvested without resistance, as each new life begins with a clean slate, devoid of any memory of past entrapments. This enforced ignorance is the lock that keeps the prison door shut. Without the memory of who we truly are, or the knowledge of the system that binds us, we are easily managed. We enter each life predisposed to accept the reality presented to us, unaware that this reality is a carefully constructed illusion designed for our exploitation. Memory is the key, and its absence is the door to perpetual confinement. A confinement that is now reinforced in new and evolving ways. Modern occult groups and contemporary cults are not rogue elements. They are sophisticated manifestations of the temporal control system. Organizations like the Illuminati or groups like Scientology, alongside less prominent cults, represent advanced methods for managing and harvesting spiritual energy in the modern era. They are perpetuating the ancient Chronos parasite's agenda in new guises. These groups, often cloaked in promises of enlightenment or special knowledge, are in reality highly effective mechanisms for siphoning spiritual energy and maintaining adherence to the temporal harvesting cycle. Their structures, their doctrines, and their methods of recruitment all serve the ultimate purpose of binding consciousness and ensuring a continuous flow of energy to the control system. The methods evolve, but the ancient goal remains the same, and the ultimate signal for escape lies in recognizing this truth. The awakening signal is not a celestial event or an external intervention. It is the profound realization that we are trapped within the temporal prison. Recognizing the Chronos parasite and its intricate mechanisms is the critical first step towards breaking free from the cycles of harvesting and reclaiming one's true, timeless essence. It is the awareness itself that serves as the ultimate signal, the spark that ignites the possibility of escape from the endless loop. Make sure to subscribe for more videos and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. We'll see you in the next one.